The space station Epsilon floated in silence above the blue and white planet of Thalora. From a distance, it looked like a ring of light in the dark, rotating slowly as hundreds of ships came and went. Inside, it was busy and bright, a place where dozens of alien races lived, traded and worked together. Among them was a young human engineer named Eli Vance. He had come from Earth 3 years ago, after winning a small research grant from the United Human Colonies. Epsilon Station was the perfect place for someone like him, quiet enough to study alien machines but busy enough to meet new species every day. Eli loved machines. He loved learning how things worked, how pieces fit together, and how power flowed through circuits. But his greatest curiosity was not metal or wires. It was the aliens themselves. They were living, breathing mysteries. Each race had its own culture, its own secrets, and among all of them, one species fascinated him more than any other, the Thalorians. They were tall, graceful beings with soft, shimmering green skin and golden eyes. They moved like dancers, always calm and elegant. But what caught Eli's attention most was something glowing faintly under their uniforms. A thin line of light running down their backs, almost like a living tattoo. It pulsed gently in rhythm with their breathing. Eli had seen one Thalorian woman many times in the station corridors. She wore a silver uniform with blue markings and carried herself with authority. Everyone seemed to respect her, even the other alien officers. Her name, whispered among humans, was Soraya, a Thalorian fleet officer stationed on Epsilon as part of an exchange program. Every time she passed, the light on her back caught Eli's eye. It wasn't like normal energy or glow strips in her, it looked alive. It seemed to change color slightly with her mood, fading when she was quiet and brightening when she spoke. He didn't mean to stare. He really didn't, but his curiosity always won. One afternoon, Eli was fixing a damaged translator module in the main trade hall. The place was full of alien chatter, deep musical voices, and strange scents from alien spices. As he worked, Soraya walked by, speaking to another officer. The glow along her back was brighter than usual, shifting in shades of turquoise and gold. Eli paused, screwdriver in hand, his eyes following the light. Suddenly, Soraya stopped mid-sentence. She turned sharply, her golden eyes locking onto him. "Why do you keep looking at my back, human?" Her voice was calm but firm. The whole hall went silent for a moment. A group of workers nearby glanced nervously, then looked away. Eli froze, realizing he had been caught staring. I'm sorry," he stammered. "I was just curious. It's a sort of light system, right?" Soraya tilted her head slightly, her expression unreadable. "Curious," she repeated slowly. "That word seems to follow your kind everywhere." Eli scratched the back of his neck, embarrassed. "I work with power systems and biotech integration. I've never seen anything like that before. It's fascinating." Her eyes softened just a little, but her voice stayed cold. "You humans often find fascination where you should find respect." Eli didn't know what to say. She turned to leave, but before she walked away, she added, "Report to the Thalorian science sector at 1900 hours. If you want to know what you are looking at, perhaps you will learn." Then she was gone, her steps silent, the faint glow on her back fading as she disappeared around the corner. Eli stood there for a long moment, half shocked, half thrilled. The Thalorian sector was usually off limits to human workers. What did she mean by "perhaps you will learn"? That evening, Eli arrived at the Thalorian section of the station. It was unlike the human decks, softer light, air filled with a faint scent like rain. The walls were smooth and almost alive, glowing faintly with pale green patterns. He approached the door marked with Thalorian symbols and pressed the chime. It slid open soundlessly. Soraya stood inside, beside a table covered with crystal devices. She wasn't in her usual uniform. Instead, she wore a long, dark coat that revealed more of the faint light lines on her back. They moved slowly, like streams of energy under her skin. "Enter," she said. Eli stepped in carefully. The door closed behind him. "You are punctual," Soraya said. "That is a good sign. Curiosity without discipline is chaos." Eli smiled nervously. "I'll try to remember that." She walked closer, her gaze sharp but not unkind. "Tell me, human," she said. "What do you think the light on my back is?" Eli thought for a moment. "I've studied energy conduits, biological power systems, and bioluminescent circuits. But it looks alive, like it responds to your thoughts or emotions. Soraya looked at him silently for a few seconds, then said, "You are more observant than I expected." She turned to the table and picked up a small crystal sphere. Inside, light swirled in gentle patterns. "The energy you saw is not mechanical. It is a connection between Thalorian and Luminar." "Luminar?" Eli repeated. She nodded. "Ancient beings of light. They bond with us when we reach maturity. They share memory and emotion, strengthen our minds, and allow us to sense the world differently. The light on our backs is their presence. They live with us and through us." Eli was amazed. "You mean there's a living being inside you?" "In a way," she said softly. "It does not live as you understand life. It exists as energy, thought, and memory. We are partners. We share everything." Eli was speechless for a moment. "That's incredible. I didn't mean to be disrespectful earlier. I just didn't know." Soraya studied his face for a long moment. Then for the first time she smiled slightly. "Curiosity can be forgiven when it seeks understanding. But you must learn caution. The Luminar are aware when they are observed. They can sense attention." Eli blinked. "Wait, you mean it knew I was looking?" "Yes," she said. "And it wondered why." He swallowed. "Did it feel offended?" "Not offended," she said. "Interested? You see, humans are unpredictable to them. You think in ways even the Luminar cannot fully read. That is why your kind fascinates us too." Eli felt a strange mix of pride and unease. "So you called me here to explain this?" "Partly," Soraya said. "And partly because my Luminar insisted." Her back glowed a little brighter, the light pulsing like a slow heartbeat. "It believes you may see what most humans cannot. Life not just in flesh, but in light." Eli took a deep breath. "Then maybe it's right. I'd like to understand more if you'll teach me." Soraya tilted her head again, the corners of her mouth curving just slightly. "Perhaps. But understanding comes with patience, human. And trust." She turned away, picking up a crystal from the table. "Tomorrow, you will assist in our energy calibration. You will see how the Luminar interact with matter. After that, we will decide if you are ready to know more." Eli nodded. "I'll be there." As he left the Thalorian section, his mind buzzed with thoughts. The stars outside the corridor windows shimmered like countless eyes watching him. He smiled faintly to himself. He had come to fix machines, but now he might be learning about something far greater. The bond between life and light. And somewhere deep within the Thalorian sector. Soraya stood quietly, her back glowing brighter than before. Her Luminar whispered silently in her mind. "He looks with wonder. Not greed." She closed her eyes and replied softly. The next morning, Eli woke up earlier than usual. His small room on Station Epsilon was quiet except for the hum of the life support system. He looked out through the round window. Stars scattered across the endless black, and the glowing blue planet of Thalora below. He still couldn't stop thinking about Soraya and what she had told him the night before. The idea that every Thalorian carried a living being of light inside them. It was incredible and a little overwhelming. Eli quickly got dressed and headed toward the Thalorian sector. He wanted to learn more, and deep inside he also wanted to see Soraya again. When he reached the Thalorian area, the air was cool and faintly sweet, like a gentle breeze after rain. The walls shimmered with green light, moving slowly like breathing patterns. Soraya was already waiting for him in the central chamber. She wore a silver uniform again, but her back glowed softly with warm blue lines. Her expression was calm as always. "You are early, human," she said. "I didn't want to be late." Eli replied with a smile. "You said I could help today." Soraya nodded and handed him a small device that looked like a curved crystal band. "This is a resonance monitor," she explained. "It measures the energy waves between a Thalorian and their Luminar. You will record readings while I work." Eli placed the band on his wrist. It lit up faintly. "Understood." They walked into a larger chamber filled with smooth, crystal-like structures. The room glowed softly with white light. Inside the crystal walls, Eli saw faint shadows moving, shapes of light that floated like slow-moving clouds. "What are those?" he asked in awe. "They are unbonded Luminar," Soraya said. "Young ones who have not yet chosen a host. We care for them until they find harmony with a Thalorian mind." Eli looked around silently, amazed. The floating light seemed almost alive. Some pulsed gently as if breathing. Others shifted colors when Soraya walked past like they were greeting her. "Do they Know you? Eli asked. Yes, she said softly. They recognized the presence of a bonded one. The luminar inside me is called Alien. It has been part of me since I was 12. Eli smiled. Alien, that's a beautiful name. Soraya looked at him curiously. You speak its name as if you are speaking to it. Few humans would do that. He shrugged lightly. If it's alive, it deserves respect. Maybe even friendship. Soraya was quiet for a moment, then said, You may be more open-minded than I thought. They began the calibration process. Soraya stood near the center of the chamber, eyes closed, while the glow along her back brightened slowly. The light traveled upward, through her neck and into her hands. She raised them slightly, and a thin beam of light extended from her palms, connecting with one of the floating crystals. Eli's monitor blinked rapidly, showing waves of blue energy. The readings are increasing, he said. Good, Soraya replied calmly. The luminar energy must stay balanced. Too much and the bond weakens. Eli watched her closely. The light was beautiful but powerful. The air seemed to hum with invisible energy. He could almost feel it brushing against his skin like warmth from the sun. But then suddenly something changed. One of the floating crystals flickered sharply. The lights around them dimmed. Soraya opened her eyes quickly. Something is wrong, she said. The containment field is unstable. Eli looked at his monitor. The readings were spiking wildly. It's overloading! A high-pitched sound filled the air, and cracks began to form in the nearest crystal chamber. The light inside it thrashed violently like a storm trapped in glass. What do we do? Eli shouted. Soraya's eyes glowed faintly as she focused. The luminar is frightened. It feels trapped. If it escapes uncontrolled, it could drain all power from this sector. Eli ran to the control panel. I can reroute the energy feed to the outer shield, and maybe I can slow the overload. Do it, Soraya said firmly. Eli worked fast, fingers flying across the console. Sparks flickered from the wires, but he kept going. Almost there. Then a bright pulse flashed across the room, knocking him backward. He hit the ground but quickly stood up again. The glowing shape inside the broken crystal was expanding, light spreading like liquid fire. Soraya stepped forward, raising her hands again. The light from her back flared brilliantly, forming a thin web of golden energy between her and the rogue luminar. It will listen to me, she said through clenched teeth. Eli stared in awe. The glow from her spine spread into the air, connecting her to the wild light in front of her. For a moment, both energies seemed to dance together, chaotic and calm meeting halfway. It's calming down, Eli said. Whatever you're doing, it's working. Soraya's breathing slowed. The light around her softened. Slowly, the wild energy folded inward and became still again, settling back into the crystal chamber. The room went silent. The hum faded. Soraya lowered her hands and turned to Eli. Her face was pale and the light on her back flickered weakly. The luminar is safe now, she said quietly. Eli rushed to her side. Are you okay? She nodded slowly. The bond drained too much energy. Alien protected me, but it will need time to recover. Eli helped her sit down on one of the benches. You shouldn't have done that alone, he said softly. Her golden eyes met his. You helped. Without you, the system would have failed. He smiled slightly. We make a good team then. Soraya gave a faint smile in return. Perhaps we do. For a few moments they sat in silence. The calm glow of the chamber returned, softer now, almost peaceful. After a while, Eli asked, Why do the Luminars stay with you? What do they gain from the bond? Soraya looked thoughtful. They experience life through us. We see, feel, and think, and they share it. In return, they give us clarity and strength. But the bond must remain balanced. If either side takes too much, both suffer. Eli nodded slowly. It's like trust, then. Yes, she said. A perfect balance of giving and receiving. He looked at her back, the faint light pulsing again. Alien's recovering? Yes, she said softly. It says your presence calmed it. It senses your intentions are kind. Eli blinked, surprised. It can sense that? Emotions are waves of energy, Soraya explained. The Luminar feel them easily. You humans carry strong emotions and they are hard to ignore. Eli chuckled. Yeah, we're not exactly subtle. For the first time, Soraya laughed softly, a quiet musical sound. That is true. Then her expression turned serious again. But you must be careful, human. Some Thalorians do not trust your kind. They think humans seek to control what they do not understand. If they learn you were here during the calibration failure, they might suspect you. Eli frowned. But I was helping you. I know, Soraya said. And so does Alien. But not everyone will believe that, Eli sighed. So what should I do? For now, she said, stay close to me. If questions come, I will answer them. He nodded. Thank you. I appreciate that. Soraya stood slowly, her strength returning. The light on her back glowed brighter again, steady and calm. You are welcome, human, and thank you for your help today. Eli smiled warmly. Any time. As he left the Thalorian sector, his thoughts were full of wonder and confusion. He had come close to an energy being that could have destroyed the entire section. And yet, what he remembered most was the moment when Soraya's light had touched his eyes, calm and beautiful like a heartbeat made of stars. Somewhere behind him, Soraya stood watching him go. The Luminar's voice whispered softly in her thoughts. He is different, it said. His mind is open, his heart curious. Soraya smiled faintly. Yes. And perhaps one day that will be humanity's greatest gift. Outside, the stars of Thalora shone brighter, reflecting the silent bond forming between two worlds, one of light and one of will. Days passed on Station Epsilon, but Eli's mind remained with the Thalorian sector. Every task he did as an engineer felt small compared to the vast mystery he had glimpsed, the living energy of the Luminar, the bond with Soraya, and the quiet beauty of life beyond human understanding. Eli arrived early at the Thalorian sector, as he had promised, carrying his notes and the resonance monitor. The room was calm, the soft green glow of the walls filling the space. The floating crystals moved gently, reflecting light like liquid rainbows. Soraya was there, sitting on a low platform with her hands folded in her lap. Her back glowed faintly, steady and soft, no longer flickering like during the crisis. Eli noticed that she looked peaceful, yet her golden eyes held the quiet weight of responsibility. Good morning, human, she said. Good morning, Soraya, Eli replied, bowing slightly in the human way of respect. How is Alien today? She touched the glowing ridge lightly. Recovering. Stronger than yesterday. It thanks you for your presence, Eli smiled. I'm glad I could help. Soraya stood gracefully. Today you will witness the memory of light ritual. Few humans are allowed to observe this. Eli's eyes widened. Memory of light? The Luminar transfer knowledge and experience between hosts, she explained. It is both a celebration and a record. We honor our past and share lessons for the future. Eli felt a mix of excitement and awe. He followed Soraya through a corridor lined with glowing panels and smooth surfaces. The walls seemed to hum slightly, vibrating in harmony with the energy inside the Thalorian section. They arrived at a large circular chamber. In the center stood a circle of Thalorians, each with glowing lines on their backs. The floating Luminar danced between them, weaving threads of light from one Thalorian to another. This is incredible, Eli whispered. Soraya nodded. The threads you see are memories, feelings, and thoughts being shared. Only those bonded with Luminar can fully participate. Humans are observers today, but your presence is welcome. Eli watched as the circle began to move in perfect rhythm. Each Thalorian raised their hands, sending waves of light into the air. The Luminar responded, pulsing and spiraling like water in a whirlpool. The room filled with warmth, energy, and a silent melody he could feel rather than hear. Eli's heart pounded. He realized the glow on Soraya's back now seemed brighter than ever, the Luminar inside her linking with others in a magnificent web of energy. After a while, Soraya stepped closer to him. Do you understand now? She asked softly. I think so, Eli said, awe in his voice. It's like your lives are connected by this energy. You don't just remember, you share. Exactly, she said. The Luminar do not separate life into individuals. They link experiences, teach empathy, and strengthen our understanding of the universe. Eli looked down at the resonance monitor on his wrist. The readings were steady, showing a flow of energy that seemed alive, intelligent. This is beyond anything I've ever studied, Soraya smiled faintly. And yet you understood the bond quickly. That is why you are here. Before Eli could respond, the chamber trembled slightly. A low hum grew louder, echoing through the walls. Eli's monitor flickered. What now? He asked, glancing at Soraya. Her eyes narrowed. A satellite from the outer belt has collided with a minor debris field. The impact created a shockwave heading toward the station. It is minor, but it will disrupt the energy flow of the Luminar if not stabilized. Eli's heart raced. Do you need help? Yes, she said. Human engineering and Thalorian energy combined can stabilize the resonance. We must act quickly. Eli followed Soraya to the control chamber. She extended her hands, golden light flowing outward from her back connecting with the station's energy grid. Eli worked on rerouting the energy, opening valves and synchronizing the power channels with precision. The shockwave hit the station, shaking the floor beneath them. Warning lights flashed, and the Luminar threads quivered in the air. Eli's fingers moved quickly, guided by intuition and knowledge. Soraya's glow intensified, weaving in rhythm with his actions. It's working, Eli shouted. Soraya nodded, sweat beading on her forehead. Focus. Keep the flow steady. Together, human skill and Thalorian energy created a delicate balance. The shockwave passed, the resonance stabilized, and the chamber fell silent. Eli collapsed onto a bench, breathing heavily. Soraya approached him, her glow returning to a calm pulse. You acted with courage and precision, she said softly. The Luminar are grateful. Eli smiled faintly. I couldn't let them get hurt. Or you? She studied him closely, a mixture of curiosity and warmth in her golden eyes. Humans are unpredictable, she said, almost to herself. But sometimes, that unpredictability is a gift. Eli tilted his head. A gift? Yes, she said. Your kind sees possibilities that others cannot. You question, explore, and care. Not always perfectly, but genuinely. That is why you fascinate Alien. Eli felt a warmth spread through him. He realized that he had come to the station to work with machines. Yet he had found something much greater: trust, connection, and the subtle strength of curiosity. Soraya touched the glowing ridge on her back lightly. Eli, your presence here is rare. You see life not just as it appears, but as it flows through energy, memory, and thought. That is something few humans ever achieve. He shook his head, smiling. I just wanted to understand. That is the start, she said. Understanding leads to respect. Respect leads to harmony. And harmony is what the Luminar and we seek together. Eli's gaze lingered on her back, now pulsing gently with calm light. I'll keep looking, he said softly. But not just at your back, toward the light you share with the world. Soraya's golden eyes softened. Then you will see more than most. You will see life as it truly is, in its patterns, connections, and shared energy. The ceremony of the memory of light ended as the Thalorians stepped back from the circle. The threads of energy returned to their hosts, the Luminar retreating into the crystal chambers. Eli watched in quiet awe. Before leaving, Soraya approached him one last time. The Luminar will remember you, she said. In our way, that means your actions and intentions are recorded, not just for you, but for the generations to come. Eli bowed slightly. I won't forget them either, she smiled faintly. Good. Then the bond is complete. Human and Thalorian, light and curiosity together. As he walked back through the corridors of Epsilon Station, Eli looked up at the stars. They sparkled like countless points of memory, reflecting the unseen threads of energy that connected all life. For the first time, he felt the weight and beauty of human curiosity, not just as a tool for understanding, but as a bridge to something greater. Somewhere in the Thalorian sector, Soraya stood quietly, her back glowing softly. Alien whispered in her mind. He is worthy, it said. He carries light within himself. Soraya closed her eyes, allowing the quiet hum of energy to fill the space. Yes, she said softly. He carries it, as humans do, in their hearts, in their will, and in their courage to see wonder where others see only emptiness. Outside, the stars shone bright above Thalora, reflecting off Station Epsilon's glass domes. The glow of the Luminar, the courage of humans, and the curiosity that had started it all merged into one silent truth. Sometimes, humanity's greatest power is not in its strength or technology, but in its ability to look, wonder, and care. And Eli, standing at the edge of the observation deck, realized that by seeing the light, he had become part of it.